Hello, everyone. How is it going? How is it going? Welcome back to everyone's stream. Welcome back. I hope the music is not loud. I hope I'm audible. How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? It's almost the end of the week. So if you're working, uh, I'm sure you guys should be happy. And how is everybody doing on the chat? How is everybody doing? Hello, top 1%. Hello. Hello. U1XC and X6N. I'm sorry, YouTube is such a shitty streaming platform that it doesn't show you your name. It shows you the weirdest handles that you have got. How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Cheers, by the way. I'm having a little bit of tea. So, what are we doing today? So last stream, if you have not seen, please go check it out. My name is Ha 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 for real. Ha Ha Ha. Nice, good name. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. It's just a random name. Ah, you mean your YouTube name? Okay, cool. You don't want to be seen? It's fine. It's fair. We'll just call you Ha Ha. Just trying to be a clown on the internet, huh? To gain some views. But it's not working. Anyways, jokes apart. So what are we doing today? So last stream was on Monday, and after that on Tuesday I was just so tired I didn't want to stream. So then yesterday I went for a movie. So after that in the night I was pretty damn tired. So yeah, here we are back today, and we are going to continue with our last day stream where we were trying to build a hash map and using C. It's a bold approach, I would say, because like I said, I barely coded in C. And it's been years, and my entire understanding of coding is of C is from streams, looking at other people code in C, not really coding myself. So I thought, hey, why not do something? And we spent about an hour discussing what a hash table is. So if you HHH, if you're there, your question was what's a hash table, things like that. Yeah, it's a dictionary. So every programming language has a different name for it. Java calls it HashMap. Rust also calls it HashMap, I think. I don't think so. Rust has an inbuilt HashMap. I'm not quite sure. Golang calls it a map. Python calls it a dictionary. The entire idea is same. You have a key, you have a value against it. We want to do a quick lookup of that value against the key. Okay, that's the thing. So we went through an hour of discussing of how it works and what it is and how it's helpful. And then I started coding, and immediately I got slapped on the face where something went wrong completely. And I was like, oh my God, am I getting hacked? Because some of my CPU power, my CPUs were spinning on like crazy. But today I tried to do the same thing, and I realized there's something wrong with OBS and Tmux. Both of them is ideally split. Something is wrong with the setup. So I have to figure that out, but I didn't. Because for the last 2 days, I didn't do anything about coding. I just was playing games. So yeah. But coming to the topic. So what are we doing today? We are not going to discuss what a hash table and things like that are. If you want to see my take on how it works and all that, I mean, it's the take that what computer science says. It's not my take, to be fair. You can go to my previous session, and I think for the first 1.5 hours we discuss of how hash tables work and what is the use cases for it, things like that. So yeah, maybe that's helpful. Today we are going to straight away go into coding. So last time we had some things set up that we are going to do first. A very simple hash map where it has the keys are a string, the values are an integer. Well, I was thinking maybe something like long, So we are going to take a text and we are going to get a count of the words which is in the text, or frequency of the words which are in the which are in the particular text file. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to do some valgrind stuff. Valgrind was also not working, so I again didn't make it work, so I have to somehow make it work today. I don't know why the alignment is off. Like it's very weird, my cutoff alignment. Anyways, so yeah, that's basically it. And we're gonna do that, and we're gonna straight away go into coding and see what is up, what is not up. Okay, so hopefully today we will be able to make some progress. Okay, hopefully today we'll be able to make some progress. Cool. Make sense? Make sense? Are we good? We are good, I would say. So let's get into our live scene. I'm gonna quickly share the desktop again in case it's not okay. So cool. I actually deleted the project. So we're gonna make the project again. It's called Hat. Hat is nothing but hash table from there. Hat. That's all. There's nothing there. So let's quickly get the project setup done, and that's fine. You can troll if you understand that I'm very stupid in C and you are a good programmer. You can troll, no issues. Be gentle, gentle troll. Okay, so let's quickly build this up. Where so instead of this, let's say this, and maybe let's just say this, and here std ioh int main. So we're not taking args, at least for now. Why are you not? Yeah, okay. So printf hello world. Explain to scanf. Bro, I'm doing something completely different. I'm not going to explain scanf right now. I think you can Google it up, man. It's just a way to take input from the standard input. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here is that so cco hat.c, but we are going to say all extra pedantic, and maybe also have the debug information in here, right? Maybe also have the debug information here. Cool, that works. And if you say hat, it says hello world, which is good. Cool. Now, the first thing is, how will the hash map work? So we need some sort of a data set, right? We need some sort of a data set, and okay, let's first do this, where text is hello friend, how are you doing? I am coding in C today. So hello friend, how are you doing? Is there any words which repeat itself? Hello friend, how are you doing? I am coding in C today. It doesn't quite have duplicates, but I can say this. So this is what we are going to use as standard to, you know, why do you have to text at this moment? What? Okay. So hello should be one, friend should be one, how are you doing today should be one each. I am coding in C today should be one each. Cool. Cool. So the very first thing that we need to do is tokenize, right? So we have to tokenize this entire thing. And how do we do that? How do we do that? It would be good if we could just simply, iterate over it and return yield words like a generator. I am not very sure how to do that in here. So, okay. Let's first define an entry, right? So now, struct entry. I think this is how you do that. So entry would be having key and unsigned long frequency, or let's just say value. Okay. The question is, does that compile? No. Why it doesn't compile? Oh, because with that unused variables makes sense, but this works fine. So now here, structure. So let's type def this right away. So this is gonna be the hash table. Okay, this is gonna be the hash table, and this particular hash table gonna have an entry. So it's gonna be a pointer of pointers, right? So entries. Then you're gonna have size, and size capacity. This is how it's gonna be. This is how it's gonna be. But in here, also needs pointers. So entry, next, and previous. Okay, still compiles. Good. Still compiles. It also kind of needs a couple of other things, which is size to load factor. So load factor determines when we are going to resize. Maybe we don't do that right away. So we first need a way to initialize the hash table, right? So hash table init. So what do you take in? You've taken the capacity and you've taken the load factor needs to be a float, honestly. Right, needs to be a float. Float load factor, and this has to return back pointer to the hash table. To the hash table, right? So now, how do you do that? So basically, what you're gonna do here is that first, I'm gonna do a malloc. So first thing first is hash table size of HashTable, but it returns a void pointer. So now I can pass this, and here return the hash table. This text in again. Okay, later on, return the hash table. Right, but this can also fail. So malloc can fail if this is null. We can simply say if I'm going to return null, because if I'm considering this to be a certain library which I can reuse a couple of places, it basically means that I need to give power to the user of the library to figure out what you're going to do if allocation failed, right? So now hash table init. So let's say size is 16 and this is 0.75f. Okay. And here is the hash table, and I am out of the habit of typing. If ht is null, what you're going to do? Printf standard error could not allocate memory for HashTable. Right, and here I can exit with one exit code. Seems like a pretty good one. And in here I can say hash table allocated. So if I don't have a make file, so we are saying build hat, it depends on a hat.c. So c all extra pedantic. After pedantic, you will have what I was doing here. So pedantic, we can have this, which is debug information. I think we can say it like not feb. Okay, and output is hat and then hat.c. So make and hat. Include standard lib, of course. So there's an error in here. So std lib is what we have to include, and hash table allocated. So it clearly says hash table allocated. Well, there are some warnings, but in here we can do that, and says hash table allocated. Unused parameter loop factor. That makes sense. So we can do this. Unused parameter, but no, if I'm not wrong, this is how you do that. Add it up to date, just rebuild everything. and if I just run it, it says HashTable allocated. So pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. So pretty cool. Now what? So one of the things we have to do now is we need to allocate more stuff in here, right? We can look at this thing by looking at gf2. Well, gf2 hatch, and I can just say break line number 15, break 15, okay, and run. It says HashTable allocated, and why did it exit out? Ah, my bad, because it's 41. Okay. So it's here, and if I look at hat, of course it's the it's called HD. So this is the pointer where you can see that everything is assigned to 0. The reason I feel it's assigned to 0 is because it's stack allocated, right? I think that is what is happening here. I think that is what is happening. So we have entries as garbage, as null. So we do need to allocate the memory in here, right? Yeah, we do need to allocate the memory in here. So how do we do that? I think if we actually do this thing, we have to also reload this, so it's okay. And in here, what I have to do is allocate some stuff. So HD capacity is capacity. HD load factor is load factor. Then here HT size is 0. Now last day we learned about calloc. So calloc here it allocates memory for an array of n members element of size bytes each and returns a pointer to the allocate memory. The memory is set to 0. If is 0, then it returns a unique pointer that can be successfully passed to. So let's first use malloc. How do we do that, right? So malloc would be basically size of entries, this many size, but do we have to take pointers? No, right? I don't think so. No, we need to take pointers. I think. Kind of confused in here. I think I have to say that because pointers is anyways 8 bytes in my machine because it's a 64-bit machine, right? So then in here, I want to have capacity. So this in here would give me entry pointer, which I can assign to entries. Is that correct? Did I get that right? I have my doubts, but okay. Well, where is entries up? My bad. Okay, and then in here, if I say gf to hatch, I definitely believe I did some thing in here. So let's just go to main and then run this entire thing. All right. So if I go next, it got allocated, but if I look at HT, yeah, it looks like a garbage value, honestly. It looks like a garbage value. And I feel I'm doing something wrong. Let's first understand why I fucked up. But this is saying allocate me a memory of size entry, which is this thing. So unsigned long would be 64 bits. This would be a 64 bit. This would be a 64 bit. But what is the size of this? Anyone knows on the chat? Any low-level programmer, C programmer, who knows how does it allocate memory for this? Because technically speaking, I have to push in something, and characters can be stretchable, right? Like characters can be stretchable. I can have 5 characters, I can have 10 characters. Each character would be 8-bit, that's fine. But when I take consideration of the size of the entry, how does it work? Well, one of the things we can do here is, well, we have to do the size of entry, size of entry. So sorry, I'm digressing a little bit, but I don't know stuff. So I gotta learn stuff, right? So what do you want? This? Okay. And if I say hatch, size of entry is 32. So this is 8, 8, 8, and this also is 8. Ah, that makes sense, because it is not storing the actual this thing. It is storing a pointer, which is an 8-bit pointer. So 8, 8, 8, 8, which is 8 into 4, 32, makes sense. A boom. Shakalaka a boom. I feel that is how this thing is working, right? Because unsigned long basically is 64 bits. Next is again a 64 bit because it's a pointer. On my machine x86 64, it's 8 bytes. So 888 is 24. And then for const.char, it's just a pointer that is getting stored. So what you have here is that. Okay, that makes quite a bit of sense. So let's first see how much this would be. So size t, I believe, is 8, 8, and float is 32, I believe, which means 4, 8, 8, 16, 20, and then pointer of pointers, which is again nothing but a pointer, which is 8 bits. So 68 bytes. So 24 plus 4 has to be 28. So size of HashTable it's also 32. Why is floater? That's very, very weird. Wait a second. Why is that? Why is it 32 then? This here is 8 plus 8. This is a pointer. So 8 plus 8 plus 8. 24 plus 4 is 28. Why is it a... size t 8. Can I not do a pointer? Well, can I do? Can I do that? What is a pointer? What we are saying? Oh, because it's भाई चुप हो जाना ले yeah. And what am I missing? Why is the size of a hash table 32? Okay, time for stupid AI to work. Size of site B is 8 bytes, float is 4, and pointer to is 8 bytes on my 64 bit. Struct is 8. So 8, 8, 8 is 24. Okay. So why? Let's just ask. Let's first ask ChatGPT and see if it can actually, on a 64-bit machine, 8 bytes. Okay. Oh. Okay. That makes sense because you always have to fill in the words. You always have to fill in that. So it cannot be, okay. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you have this kind of structure, right? So you have this kind of structure, right? Let's take another look. In here goes entries, the pointer to the entries, and it's 8 bytes. So it's gonna fill up the entire. Then it's gonna be capacity. It's gonna fill up everything. It's gonna be size. It's gonna fill up everything. But when it comes to float, it only took up this much. Now for the next allocation, it cannot start from here, is what I'm getting, because no matter what, it's a 64-bit machine. So 64 divided by 8 is 8. So I have to fill in those 8 bytes. So it's an alignment thing. Okay, so it's always 8-byte alignment. If you reorder, size will still be. Oh, I remember this. So chat, I remember the order of fields is important. The order of fields is important because of the fact that you can literally offset. Like one of the things is if you have a pointer to this thing, so this is HT, I can literally offset by 8 bytes and get this thing, get the capacity. This is the kind of shit you can do with a real programming language, where you can just mess around with the memory, I suppose. The second thing here is that if I put this in first, then also the alignment will be required. because it's always 28, it has to be always divisible by 8. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. I don't know if it actually made sense to anyone of what I'm trying to do here, or what the heck I'm trying to actually understand in here. Okay, so this definitely is not something that is correct, right? This definitely is something not that is correct. So how do we do this? How do we do this? I allocate. Do we have to do it in that way? No, because it's basically the size of pointer. That's not the correct thing to do. Hey, Anubhav Jha. Hello, Anubhav. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? So, how exactly? I remember I did this kind of shit in LeetCode. So let's actually. What are you talking about? Can you just shut up? Thank you. And I believe there has to be a some problem. What are you teaching, sir? I'm not a sir. I'm not teaching anything. I'm just learning stuff myself. You can just call me Priya. That's my name. So today we are just doing some low-level programming because I wanted to learn a little bit of C. And we are building a hash table or a hash map using C. That's what we are doing. Well, we are struggling with it. So I guess what we are doing right now is we are struggling. Hey TSK Gamer, hello. Welcome. What games do you play? Yeah, problem. Anyways, it's kind of weird. Like, my question here is this the same as capacity and size of entry? It has to be the same, right? Size to size, yeah. Hash table allocated. Can you explain in short what's a hash table? A hash table is a hash map. You can go and check my previous stream. I do entire stream explaining what a hash table is. So yeah, this particular video might be helpful. Okay, where we discuss what a hash table is. Basically a lookup table where you have keys and values, where you can do a O of 1 lookup of keys against the values. Lookup of values against a key. Okay, so this is done. Hash table allocated. Well, I did not want to do that. So let's just say that I want to break at main, and I'm gonna run this. So now if I say next, kind of does the same thing, doesn't it? Kind of does the same thing. Am I missing something? Chat. Well, the program will tell me if I'm missing something. Right, so let's exit out of here. But GDB doesn't quit. I don't know what is up with it, but yeah, okay, cool. So now, what I want to do here is it's the same. Looks like it. which editor are you using? I'm just using Vim, NeoVim right now. But I don't have any plugins. I don't have any setup done because I'm not a NeoVim user, but I'm mostly using JetBrains IDs. But I don't know, for some reason, if I open up a C project in CLine, it asks me to use a couple of CMake and things like that. So I'm like, fuck you. I'm just going to use that. I am not using VS Code because I couldn't get VS Code to work as I work on Mac. So the binding's a little bit different. So I use it, but just not right now. But right now I'm using NeoVim. There are no plugins or things like that. So it's a very simple stuff. Okay. So we need to have a sort of a thing where, okay, so let's actually move forward. So you have a void and HashTable put, HashTable put. You can check on my YouTube this thing. There are links to all my handles there. YouTube description. Or you can also visit my website. It's very simple. It's my name, priyapay.com, and you can find stuff in here also. I don't know why I cannot, because those are icons, so I cannot select, but right below this you should have, yeah, most likely, yeah, you should have the things in here. Okay. Cool. So now let's continue. Where were we? Oh, my bad. We were in the code. So in here, when you're going to do a put, I want a key and I want well, I'm using unsigned long value. Okay. First thing first, we need to do a hash of the key, and I remember hashing York University. There's a DGPA2. Yeah, my bad. Sorry for flashbanging you. Sorry. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we're gonna use DGP2. All right. Cool. We can literally copy paste this thing. Okay. So what it does is unsigned long hash, unsigned character, str, unsigned long hash 5381 is, I think, a prime number, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, whatever. And then while you have a value, this is something which I don't like. I mean, it's correct, but it feels like a little bit of obscure syntax, specifically if I'm new, right? Like, what the fuck is this? And the reason why this works is because, if I remember correctly, the pointer operator is having a higher precedence than plus plus, so that is why it would dereference first and then it would increment till the time it's not null, and you are just assigning it in here. Who is texting? Okay, so till the time it's here. So that is what it's doing. We can copy paste this particular thing in here. Who writes like that? I guess. Okay. So what you do is hash, and you want to hash key. It's already a pointer, so unsigned long hash is this, but then index would be equal to h mod ht, which also means I I need to pass the hash table by a pointer, because I will be modifying it. HT capacity. Yeah. So now what I want to do here is the next thing that I want to do. What do I want to do? So I got the hash, I got the index out of it. I just have to look at what that index is. Sorry. Now, as far as I remember, it cannot be as simple as just doing this, if I remember correctly. Is that right? We can check, I suppose. So what you can do in here is entry is this, and printf hello. And I think one of the things you can do here is asm. So this is another trick that I saw from, should we remember the code? Of course not. What is the point of remembering a code? Code is an art. Do you remember painting? Do you remember you painted something and do you remember it? No, it has to come from within, is what I feel. Specifically in these sessions, because these are recreational programming sessions, in my opinion, where I'm learning and I'm having fun, a little bit of nerdy sessions. This is very much inspired by Soding. I shared his channel over and over again so many times. Do look out his channel because it's really good. But you should never ever, even with a professional setting, you should never ever remember the code. You should understand the code. So as an example here, I wrote this with malloc, and then I wrote it with calloc. And then I said, hey, are these the same? It looks the same to me. So I need to understand exactly because it feels the same. You're giving the capacity and the size, and it's just going to multiply it. So this and this is the same thing. But is it semantically the same thing? So I have to check that. But in an interview, they asked me to write the code and I wasn't able to write a single line. That's because you're not practicing enough. You need to practice. You need to practice. I told you I haven't written C code for a very long time, but I am still writing it somehow. In today's date, you have ChatGPT, which can help you do mock interviews. Is that okay? Naman, hello. Is that okay? So I don't know the screen creator. Practice means you want to. Why is practice mugging up again? Like, if you think practice is mugging up, I don't know. Practice is not mugging up. Practicing is getting familiar with something, with whatever you're practicing. But it doesn't mean I have to remember it. You have to remember the syntax, but you don't have to remember the code that you wrote for a certain problem. That's what I'm saying. So as an example, I'm talking right now, there is no script. It's not a movie or it's not a made video that I have a script and I read it out. I'm just talking. So at times I'm out of words, I'm out of sentences, so I have to think what to say. But I can speak in English. I practice speaking English, so I know words to use. Or I know how to pronounce the word. But I have not mugged up what to say every day, right? So that's, I don't know, that's probably like more like it. Okay, back to the problem. Cool, so expected answer, but argument is of the type const char. What you talking about? Oh, it's an unsigned char. Is char not unsigned, or char is unsigned in Java? It's not probably unsigned in C, right? So, unsigned char. Is that how we do that? Pointer, and in here I can also say, so it's 8, right? Is that how you do unsigned? I may be completely wrong. So let's first get rid of that. And okay, you're still, wait a second. Parenthesis. I have no idea what. Okay, so maybe what you want me to do here is this thing, and no, most likely not. That's what you're saying. You're saying put this guy in parentheses. Is that what you're saying? Okay, that's what you're saying. An unused variable, but I just gave this. Like, what are you talking about, bro? I just gave this parameter, so what are you crying about? Cool. Nah, gf2. You have to remember the syntax. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, minor finder. I'm really sorry that I cannot, make this gf2 the debugger bigger. So much of experience suggests me a beginner course backend stuff instead of Node. I saw on LinkedIn, yeah, so much experience. Suggest me a beginner. As a beginner, should I go? Node is backend. My suggestion would be to start with data structures and algorithms. I don't know if you've already done that. I'm guessing you're in college right now. Should I go learn? Acha. Should I learn Go for my backend stuff instead of Node? Yeah, I got that. So I'm guessing a lot of Indians are watching me. So मैं हिंदी में बात करता हूँ अभी थोड़ी देर. I generally talk in English because I'm hoping so कि people from around the world come and see me. 1 million views. But अभी हिंदी में बात करता हूँ. तो हमने gf2 खोला and gf2 basically एक debugger है जिसके थ्रू हम debug करेंगे, right? So as you see, I can speak in Hindi. My Hindi is not that great, but I can still speak in Hindi, right? So again, language doesn't matter. Programming matters. Software matters. The job as a software engineer is to solve a problem, and shouldn't be like what language you're given to solve the problem. Yes, we have discussions of pick up the best tool for the job, but in my opinion, it's controversial because if you ask me a particular tool for a job, I'm most likely going to say Java because I'm more familiar with Java. Someone might say Python because they're more familiar with Python. So they're always going to say what they are more familiar with. I don't know. I don't think that everybody can say with certainty that you have to solve a certain problem with this particular language. Every language can solve every problem. They have their own caveats and this thing. Basic banana chahta hu. In that case, JavaScript is easy. So if you are familiar with JavaScript and you have done your DSA in JavaScript, I would suggest you should go with JavaScript, but not the language. Understand software, go with Node, understand software, understand how a web server works, understand how threads work, understand how memory allocation works. Because like I said, I work with Java, but since I know the underlying hood of what is happening, not so much, but I understand a little bit. So that is where I can still code in C. So switching from Node to Go would not be a problem. But specifically, if you're looking for job perspective, I think I have not done my research, but I think intern with you, bro. I'm not a company. How will you intern with me? I'm not a company. I work with a company. I wish I was a company. I would be super rich. I would not be streaming then, definitely. Right? Kidding. So what you can do is look at the market and see that the companies that you want to apply, or in general, Go or Node is going. I think Go is going right now more, specifically for cloud native applications and cloud platforms and all that. So most likely you can learn Go, but then you have to learn the syntax depending on how much time you have till your placement and all that. Yeah, so you can go with Go. If you have less time, I would say go with Node, create a project, boom, go fast and start applying, but then move on to Go. Dhanraj, hey, hello, welcome back to the stream. How are we doing? So let's break hash, and I think you just have to say run. Why did it not break on hash? Break main, run. Okay. Because I'm a fucking idiot, that's why. Bro, who will call this function? Who will call this function? Me or who? Has to be me. Okay, so now what I have to say is HashTable put, you have to give ht, you have to say hello, and you have to say 1. All right, make break main run. Well, I can simply say break. Let's go next. I want to step in. Okay, and I want to step in again. I'm here. I actually wanted to look at the other things, so I'm stupid. Okay. Well, it's working. Of course, it has to work because I copy pasted the code. What else was I expecting? So, what is the index? So the index is 9. It's well within the capacity of 16. We allocated 16 blocks. Okay, let's learn what you're teaching. I mean, yeah, okay, cool. Then is the question. Well, not here. So if I just go to next, what happened? You just stopped it as an int. So int3 is a trap. It stopped and then it, I don't know, something is completely wrong with my setup, I feel. So okay, implementing HashTable in C. I am, and I'm just trying to learn C and also HashTable, how they work. I never implemented a HashTable by myself, so yeah, I'm just trying to do that. So I'm gonna break HashTable C, sorry, put and I'm gonna run this guy. Okay, I'm gonna go here, and go here, and it didn't fucking crash. Okay, and it's null. Can I, by the execute stuff in here? No. Locals. Okay, so I feel that whatever assignment we did is right. So now let's quickly do one thing. So let's say if, you know what, we can say, let's first do this. If entry is null, what you have to do, malloc size of entry, and this would be giving back entry is this thing. We've got to cast it. A boom, boom, boom. Okay, so now what I have to say is how about that? Right? How about that? Now, of course, we need an equality and all that. We're not going to do that right away. I'm just going to say entry P is, and I remember there was something called str loop. Okay, so you have an str loop right here, but I'm gonna do this because this is a pointer. What is str loop? Okay. str dupa and strn dupa are similar but use alloc to allocate the buffer. The strn dup function is this thing but copies at more n bytes if s is longer than only a terminating byte is added. Okay, so I guess str dup is what we can do, and we can say, hey buddy, copy the key, and entry value should be 1. Well, of course, this is not only naive, but what is a hash table? Hey Mohammed, welcome to the stream. You can look at my previous session on what is a hash table. It's right here. So hash table is a lookup table where you store values against some keys, and getting the values is mostly O of 1 operation. constant time operation. So that's what hash tables are. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let's see. Make that didn't work because there is no definition of, is it string or strings? I wonder. Cool, look at that. Okay, so I'm gonna say break in. Okay, now I'm gonna run this. So next. So let's step into this. Go over. So this has to be true. This is true. And right now entry is null. But the moment we step over, this is allocated. Look at that. This is allocated right now. Cool. This is allocated. And now once it's allocated, what you have to do here is that boom, and printf hello is not really a big thing. You're here, but now I also want to look at ht, which is saying, okay, these are the entries, but entries, and I feel now ht entries of 0 is this, but I believe it was 9 is also this. I wish we actually looked at the index. These are your assemblies and stuff like that. I don't want to know about that. 8 is empty. Why is it empty? How do you display? I forgot how do you display. That's weird. Segmentation fault. Okay, it's GF2 segmentation fault. So you're so consistent here. Won't you spend time with your family? I of course spend time with my family. I'm not consistent. I don't stream every day. Hold on, buddy. You are digressing from the main topic. Hold on. Break main. Run this thing. So now, if I go next, I want to step in. Next. So the hash here is, what is the hash? Hash here is whatever that number is. Can I just, I don't know how to format it in here, but that's fine. So now we also have to look at index. Well, index is 0, of course, because it's an int on the stack. Boom, it's 9. It's 9. Of course. It can't be this hard to make a dictionary in C Pro. It's hard for me. I am not smartest guy. Okay. Entries of index is equal to entry. Who will do this? Who will do this? Well, of course, it's still not like complete, but it's fine. Okay, so well, I want to break on main, and I just want to run this guy. Next, next. Let's go in. Next, 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 next. Now, this looks like something that will turn into hash.h and never touch it again. I'm not sure what you're talking. Why is it a hash.h? It's not a hashing library. It's just a hash table library. Those are two different things. HT, so we have entries. Of course, I cannot look into that, but that's fine. Entries at 9. Fuck yeah. Now this works. Yeah, I'll make it into a library, but no one's going to use it because it's going to be a very stupid ass library. Because there are STB libraries and things like that, right? This is me just learning stuff. Forget about it in use. That's the problem. I'm not coding for money here. I'm coding for fun. So I can write hash tables every day in different ways because it's fun for me, right? That is what programming should be. Not everything has to be written for money, right? So anyways, coming back to the point. We actually took an hour, like we are so smart, we took an hour to do a hash table put. Look at that, in an hour, wow. Where is the job? Where is the job? I already did a hash table put, which is not correct because if there are collisions, it's not going to work. If there are collisions, it's not going to work. We are not resizing even with load factor and things like that, but at least we are somewhere. At least we are somewhere. But let's try to get it back, right? So we did this. So let's try to get it back. And here, int value is this, and so here is something called value is this and value. That's, I suppose, how you do it. As a beginner, do you recommend I'm in third year do stuff like this or just build library to solve problems? I would say both. Again, if you're in third year, I don't know if it's late. I mean, I started coding 5 years back, honestly. Like actually loving to code 5 years back. Even though I have 10 years of experience, it was just a job for me back then. But if you think you're late, I would say just use library to solve problems. Because that's mostly what you're going to do in a job. But I would suggest you should do this kind of stuff to actually learn how things work behind the scene if you want to make it to a good product company, is what I'm going to say. So let's actually run it without this. Well, of course, I don't have a hash table get. So in here, hash table get is a hash table. Gosh, thanks. See, built-in libraries have nothing. That is also true, because looking at how HHHS is talking, it looks like he's a hardcore C developer, or a developer in general who has good experience with C. So what he says, I completely agree with that. And one of the reasons why I feel that is because people who code in C and are like not slow as me, who has been coding in C for years, they don't give a fuck about bloating. They don't give a fuck about libraries. They can write any kind of shit from scratch by themselves. Right? So that is why they don't use libraries. But you were talking about Go and Node, so do use libraries, I would say. Okay. Once you're good, then you can think about these kind of things. So const char key, is that what I not passed? Yeah, I suppose quant developer. I don't know what that is. Quant trading? Yeah, I have no idea about quant trading. Okay, so now what I have to do in here is C is the ultimate hobbyist language, not good for Java. So yeah. So that is why I started with C, because for 10 years I've been working with Java, Go, Python, Node, and stuff like that. But this is the ultimate cool stuff and I would call myself an engineer if I can get this working. Like not this, like if I can code in C and understand what the shit I'm doing, including the tool chains, linking and stuff like that. If I can do that, I would say that day I'm an engineer. Before that, I'm just a guy who's plugging things together. Do you code in C? It feels like you are a hobbyist guy who would just like without the internet do stuff with C. Is that right? Is my theory right? Okay, cool. How do you get this? So in here, what do? You again say hash this guy, please. Thank you. And you get back an unsigned long. I have a C book by my side. I already understand you're a Linux guy and all that stuff. I'm also guessing maybe you use Arch. I don't know if you already follow this guy, but you should. And if you have a C book by your side, the way you speak, I think you actually follow this guy. Do you follow this guy? Man, this guy is really good. And honestly, I have never learned C. I did like a month of C back in my college, 12, 15, 13 years back. But this guy, looking at his stream, I'm inspired to not only code in C, like I actually learned C. Man, holy shit, I actually learned C from this guy. Like literally. And I keep talking about, even in my full stack streams, even when I solve leak code on the stream, because I'm that kind of an engineer, I always say that if you really want to understand programming, this is the guy you should look. He codes in C, but it shouldn't matter because what he talks about and the way he codes and he talks about things. I literally learned C just by looking at his streams for the past 2-3 years. And I just thought, okay, maybe it's time that I do something with C and learn C myself and not just see him. And this is for everyone. If you're watching, anyone is watching me right now, this is Alexi is the God guy. He has a Discord channel. I think you guys should also join. You can just go and check. Oh, it is right here. Is my profit. Cool, man. We found a common thread. Cool. Yeah, so now I know what you're talking about. It shouldn't be that hard and it shouldn't be this thing. Yeah, I understand. But I have never coded in C. I have not done anything remotely relatable to where I have to manage memory myself or do anything with pointers. I'm a Java dev, or according to your prophet, I'm a roly-poly Java dev, right? So, so hopefully someday I can code like good stuff. But yeah, that's why it takes time. Okay, cool. So what do you want? You want a hash in here. And I remember I haven't implemented a hash table before, so I was so confused about it. Okay. I just thought about that, like, what can I do with C? Something simple. So I thought, okay, why not a hash table? Because I was looking at a lead code problem of LRU. So I thought, okay, hash table looks like the simplest problem that I can do with C. Like something useful, not like hello world stuff, right? So I think I have to cast it to unsigned char, but a pointer because it's not a character, it's a string in here, right? And then what I have to do is I have to bring it back to that particular range. So I say ht capacity and really plus C can never go wrong. Yeah, I've never tried it, like I said, because I know about it because I look at his streams. Yeah, so I don't want to do graphics immediately because I'm also like, yeah, I've never tried those stuff. So slowly and steadily it will happen. It's gonna fucking happen for sure. Okay, cool. So index is this. What you do is entry. Well, again, pretty bad stuff in here, but like, who cares? So now I am gonna say ht, can you just entries of index if entry equals null. I'm gonna do something very stupid in here. Well, of course, first of all, it has to be a size key because that is what we are storing. Okay, which also means I cannot return -1 in here because size is unsigned if I remember correctly, and in here, right? Otherwise, I'm just gonna say entry value. Right. So of course this is not the correct way because the values can itself be 0, but right now I'm just making it work. How, like, we have to also kind of think of a way we have to say that, hey, it's like you don't have a value. You don't have a value. Since it's a size t, we cannot return null, and I don't think so it's the correct thing to return a pointer, because returning a pointer would mean that you're giving the ownership to somebody else and they can do shit with it. That's what I feel. Anyways, this is size t. It's like, I mean, it's kind of like integers. You don't have to pass the pointers, right? So of course, this here is size t value. Let's see what we get. So in here, we can say value 2. We can say hello 1, which definitely doesn't exist, and value 2. Well, this should say, okay, what are you talking about? Okay. So there is also one thing which is called ZU. I think for size we use ZU, if I remember correctly. Oh boom, I remember correctly. Look at that. My god, I'm mugging up stuff and remembering things. I mean, sorry, I'm bad, but yeah. Also, why did it print hello? Why did it print hello? There's something fishy going on in here. There's something fishy going on in here. How did this thing come in? Okay. So, HashTable init, you say put, then you say get. What if I just say this thing? You still print it? You still print it. You don't print it. Okay. Did I just drop frames? Okay. I think. Are we offline? Not on my phone. Okay, never mind. I think we're not. Okay, so you say printf and then you say value. And of course, I am the idiot. Cool. Cool. But now we have to think of a way where, like, first of all, this is not correct. This is not correct. We are considering that hash identity is the correct one. I mean, hash identity is the correct one, but we are not resolving anything where there's a collision, right? Even if we are overriding something, we are not doing that, right? So, well, technically speaking, this would be done. Sorry, because if entry is not null, it would not go here, but this is again wrong because why do I have to duplicate the memory again? Okay, so even without the correctness, okay, there's one more thing I feel here is that where do you do allocation? We do an allocation here, and this guy can fail, and if this guy fails, this memory would leak. This memory would leak. So If HT entries equals null, are you still there? Return null. So this here memory leak. I do not use Arch. We already have. I haven't implemented HashTable before to so I was confused about it. Really plus you can never go wrong, or SQL if you like struggling. Yeah. Gaming is not my thing. I was really good with physics and maths, but then everything fell apart after I got the job. But yeah, I'm actually like thinking that if I go into that path, like just for recreation, my love for it would come back. Hopefully. Okay, cool. So now, okay, we'll take a quick break. We'll do a 5 minutes break, and once we are back, we will be doing a few of the things. What are the things? The first thing is we are going to do hash collision and equality check first before we actually do this thing. The second thing is that we're going to say we're going to use valgrind to actually figure out. So right now, as far as I remember, valgrind hat, if I say, aha, look at that, memory check, blah blah blah, 5 allocation, 1 free. This thing definitely lost 32 bytes in one block, indirectly lost 550. To see details, leak check. Full. $24. Yes. So it clearly says that okay, there's this thing in here. Indirectly lost this. Okay, because of course, but the program exits. So I don't think so. There's going to be a leak in general, but we also need to deallocate stuff. Yeah, makes sense. So now in here, so if I go to init, right, and in here, if I say free HT, can you just it still works with the same way. Okay, we're gonna come and see exactly yeah, we will come in and see exactly what needs to be done in here, because I thought this is going to be the memory leak, because if this thing, I'm guessing valgrind is saying that, hey buddy, you have not deallocated this thing here, but is it crying because I have to say this? Because, well, it's a... yeah, it still says 550 bytes and 3 blocks. I'm feeling it's because I have not freed up the memory, but it's still a CLI program and it's going to exit and deallocate itself, right? Yeah, but let's take a quick break and see you after 5 minutes. Till then, you enjoy the music. I'll get some tea done also. Okay, we are back. We are back, and yeah, let's see. So, what we mentioned was that the wrong things that we are doing here, in fact, is the put operation. We are doing the wrong thing in put operation, and then we are also doing a wrong thing in here. We're also doing a wrong thing in here. All right, so. Hmm. So if entry is this, you put in this thing, and here you say entry E. is equal to str duplicate of the key. So we have to get rid of that. Else we have to go and find the last pointer. Right. So one thing we can do here is let's actually first code it out. Right. So while entry next not equals null, while entry next not equals null, and so strcmp, is that how you do? Yeah. So strcmp of entry key. So let's do this. And the key in itself, we're going to compare these two things. Is not equal 0. So what do we do? So in here we need a previous pointer which is null. Previous is entry. Previous is entry, and then we have to say entry equals entry next. If entry is null, we can simply say entry equals, so it's gonna be a pointer malloc of size of entry, and then in here I'm gonna have to say if so, what if the allocation fails? We never really do a check if the allocation failed. So it's kind of like we don't have a way to. Okay, we'll see. So if the allocation is correct, entry e equals str duplicate of the key. Then what I'm going to do here is that nothing else, and at the very end we're going to say entry value is this. If it is not null, it's going to fall through, and this is how it's going to resolve. So we still don't use any load factor and resize it, but that's fine for now, I suppose. But in the get operation, what do we have to do? Okay. While entry not equal to null. Entry equals entry dot next. But in here, so I suppose we can do a do while, because at this point I know there is a single entry at least. We note that. So what we can say in here is entry strcmp entry key and the key. If this is 0, I can return entry, and in here I have to say while entry not equal to null, and here we can simply say 0. Okay, strp, so don't have that. Now do that. Well, previous next is entry, entry. So I suppose in here it can be a single linked list, but eviction is going to be a problem, right? So since eviction is going to be a problem, what we can do in here is entry previous is previous. Okay, so now let's run this. So what if I change this to 10? That didn't quite work now, is it? So let's see what we're doing. We first do the hash, we first do this. Now we get this. If entry is this thing, we say that. Okay. Oh. I'm a dummy dumb. So now this works correct. And I think now it is the time where we are going to parse this particular thing. So let's actually use this Shakespeare T8 GitHub. Shakespeare T8 GitHub. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so let's take head 100 of what is it called, T8. Yeah. So it's T8, but it's small t8. Okay. Now, let's do this. So how are we going to do this thing? So we have to tokenize this, right? And we can simply tokenize with is space. So one thing we can do in here is space. So where is space coming from? It's in C type. Okay. So here we can simply say space is this printf g Okay, so what we have to do is well, not in here, right? So tokenize into words. Int cursor is 0. Int length is, I think it's called str length of text. Exit 1. While cursor is less than length. While this is less than the length, what do we do? So while the cursor is less than the length, I feel we have to first take a pointer to the start. So int begin is basically the cursor in itself. Okay, so while so can I just do text at cursor not equal to, well, is space not equal to 0, or is punctuation, I think there's something, printable character which is not a space or an alphanumeric character. Okay, so is punctuation UNCT text of cursor not equal to 0. We also have to check the boundary. So if this is the case, what I have to do right now is cursor plus plus. Okay, but how do I take a substring? So I suppose it's an user include. Yeah, so I can have string. Oh, how do we take a substring in C? How do we do that? Well, we already have a pointer here. We already have a pointer here. What if we say const char word is nothing but text at cursor minus text at cursor minus the text at begin plus, I think we have to null terminate it. Is that not it? And in here I would say token is this word. Awesome. Well, it is print. F. Okay. So is space. It's under C type. So C type. Okay. Well, that is kind of wrong. Why is that? So so what does it say? Suggest parentheses are oh, okay. That makes absolute sense. The error is initialization of a character. Man, what do you want me to do? How do you do this thing? No, I forgot how to do that. But that's fine. How do you take a substring? C take a substring from char string given to pointers. To extract a substring given to pointers, a start and an end, you need to create a new null terminated string. You cannot return a C star without allocating new memory. Okay, so I can do something like memcmp. Okay, so you have to first allocate the string, then you have to copy it, memory copy. Okay. So malloc size of character into cursor minus begin +1 is what you have, +1 for the null termination. Correct? I think that's correct. We're not gonna look at any kind of this thing right now. So then memcpy, memcopy, which is coming from string. So you have the destination, then you have the source, and you have the size. Okay. So will null termination copy the bytes? Like copy the... It won't, right? It won't. I feel it won't. So in here, what I have to do is memcopy from the text into the word cursor minus, but how do you know where to start from and what to copy? So let's look at what it's doing. This is the fine. How do you do that? P is exclusive. That is correct. Okay. So then here, allocating the memory, length +1. Isn't length... So if you're taking it exclusive, why are you doing minus and not just... Because it's exclusive, buddy. Because it's exclusive. Then in here, if this is this, you're saying copy it to this particular destination from the start. to the length. Okay. So how do I even look at this original plus? Okay. I get it. I get it. So in here, you have to say plus begin. You copy it into Word, and length would be cursor minus begin. Yeah. So this many number of bytes you're copying. Now you have to say word of cursor minus begin plus 1 is equal to a null terminated one. Cool. That didn't work because this works with size t. Okay, so we can do that. We can size t, length is this, well, substring length. So substring length, it's a little big for a variable, but that's fine. Here substring length still doesn't quite work. Malloc. And the reason behind that is characters are 1 bytes, but then what is the problem? I explain because it's size off. That's the problem. Okay, so it expected this thing in line number 118. So this is 118. What is happening? What are you expecting? Ah, this is okay. What is the problem? Hmm. Okay, I guess we say gf2 hat. Okay, so break me. Right. So this here is the text. This here is begin. This here is cursor. So if you go next, Next. Length here is 62. That is fine. So now begin becomes 0. Why? Why? Okay, so here is this. You do this. Okay, you want to break and main. Run. I want to watch cursor. I want to watch begin. And X is also fine. This is the bytes that you have. So blah 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 blah. Because yeah, the first is 72. So why is it not going in here? I know. One of the things I have to do in here is break main, run, next. Still didn't capture it. So in here, cursor is this, begin is this, and it takes in an empty string and it just moves forward. So just so you know, if we say text cursor, it's 72. Can I evaluate stuff? No, right? We cannot evaluate stuff in here. I suppose. Because I just do is space text of I say is space we're tuning it. This is not 0, this is false. Wait, this is not 0, this is false. And okay, I get it. My assumption was wrong. So here it has to be this. I remember there was a way to look at where the segmentation fault happened. I think it was under GDB itself. So GF. So can I just do GDB hash break main? So now I think you have to do like this. Yeah, okay. So you go, well, run this, whatever that means for you. Okay, so you do that, that. Yes. So I think it's called print. Just 5. It makes sense. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is exactly a yo. Because isn't it supposed to break here? Okay, so you break on main, you run this, you go to next, 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 next. So this is a cursor, this is the begin, this is the text at the cursor, and is space text at cursor is punctuation text at cursor. Okay, so now just about to do the same here. So now it's E, makes sense. L, okay. So now we are at O. This should also pass through. But this should fail. Of course, now I have to revert the condition because it was non-zero. Dude, fuck. God, programming is tough. Now we have to check for both and conditions exclusively. Both has to be true. Okay, it's still a segmentation fault, but somewhere else. Okay, so here is break main. So now let it run. Next. So here is cursor, here is begin, here is text at cursor, here is text at begin. Okay. This is where you break. So the substring length has to be something. Okay. Now text plus begin is the entire thing. But you're only gonna copy substring length bytes in there. This is wrong. That is why it's segmentation fault. Okay, cool. I never really checked that. Okay. Oh, this here itself is a seg fault. And I think backtrace is what you do. That didn't give me shit. Why is it sec for it? So mem copy text plus begin word substring length. Okay, so you have the word. Let's go and see our program. So, because I fucked it up. This is the word, and this is where you do it from, and then in here, substring length make. It still doesn't fucking work. You have to add which line am I in? So let's break right away in 118. Break 118. So you run it. Now text plus begin is gonna be from hello. Sorry. It's gonna be from hello. And word has been allocated some by. Let's see in here. So now if I go next, it didn't crash and it only copied this thing, but it's understandable why I did only copy H. I'm assuming that from source it's gonna return substring length is 5, so it should have copied hello, but didn't copy hello. Now in here, if I say this, it still works. Okay, so I suppose one of the things missing here is I move away the pointer. Holy shit. Finally. Also, one of the things we have to do in here is ignore the spaces. Right? So while cursor is less than length and is space text and cursor plus plus first we are missing this, and here if cursor is equal to length, we can simply break out of it. Fucking finally. Hello friend, how are you doing today? I am coding in C today. Now what you do is push token into the hash map. Hash table get this particular word. If this is not equal to 0, hash table int size frequency is hash table get this thing and the word. If frequency equals 0, now we can simply hash table put ht word frequency plus 1. That would simply get the job done. Now, well, I'm going to do some copy pasting of the code. So what I want to do here is I'm going to copy this entire block. So printf frequency of the word is CU, and you have the word, you have the frequency. So somewhere I forgot line 135. Okay, so we are in an infinite loop right now. And I bet it's because of this. Printf word is this thing, and index is this thing, right? So you have the key and you have the index. That's pretty much it. Okay, so we have a collision, and this thing never really did, because of course entry equals entry next. To do that, so one of the things I want to do here is I want to remove this. The frequency of the word hello is 0, friend is 0, how is 0, r is 1. Okay, it's already wrong. So what is going on, my friend? So one of the things we have to do is why is others 0? Why is others 0? So let's actually have a function which HashTable dump. So takes in HashTable. So what you can do is, how to do a HashTable entries. So now, while HTE not equal to null. Entry bucket. So this here is a bucket, which is gonna be E. While bucket is not null. Well, I feel what you can do here is for size ti equals 0, I less than ht. We don't do that. Capacity I plus plus. Okay. So now entry bucket will not like this is ht entries of I. Okay. Why bucket is not null? We can simply printf e should be this, value should be cu. Line you have ht bucket e bucket value, and bucket equals bucket next. Yeah. So HashTable. So you have to just give this, and let's say we exit out right here. Make this. Okay, so these entries are somehow lost. Why is it lost? What is happening, my friend? I feel I messed up something. So here you first say, you take this thing and say, you do this. Because if it is not null, I don't want to reassign the bucket because it can be a random fucking node which I'm assigning back to the head. So this has to be done here, and ht entries of index should be equal to the entry. It should be here. No, that is still not the case. We somehow are losing up all of these stuff in here. What is the wrong thing that we have done? So we say, first we try to get the bucket. Then we say that entry equals null. Entry is this. Mhm. Then entries is index entry. Else, if it is not the case, we take the same and we go down one by one and we compare the key. And we say, okay, so here we say entry this thing, entry key duplicated. Hmm. That's pretty sus. I want to rewrite this entire thing so it's a little bit easier, I suppose. I suppose it's a little bit easier. Um, hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay, let's rewrite this in a very simple way. So, entry previous equals while entry is not equal to null. Str compare the key and uh, entry key. While this is the case, previous equals entry, entry equals entry next. If previous equals null, if entry is not equal to null, entry value. If previous equals null, or entry equals null. Entry equals, we allocate the memory in here, malloc size of entry, entry key should be key, entry value we don't care right now, but if previous not equals null, we have to simply say previous dot next equals entry, entry dot previous equal to previous, else else entries of index should be equals entry, and both the cases we say this. I feel this is a more shorter code. Uh, But yeah. Hmm. Hello is one, friend is one, how is one, are you doing today? Okay. Okay. Look at that. I think we are in a position where we can end the industry, and we still leak memory because right leak check uh, summary. Hi. 42 because we don't deallocate it. Is that what you're trying to say? Okay. So one of the things we can do here is free the hash table. Okay. So in here, well, this has to be void val ht is null. We're simply going to return. Otherwise, we have to size p is 0. Size, I less than ht capacity I plus plus. So now in here, what I would like to do is which is a phi. We're gonna free this particular thing here. Then we're gonna do free ht. HashTable free ht, and we can also free the word in here and in here. We fucked up something. Yeah, so we cannot free the word right away, but we make a copy. In HashTable put we make a copy. Not quite sure what's the issue. Yeah. Okay. In 150, we are losing this info. So if I do in here, $150 is gone. Cool. So we still have something in 156. We are leaking memory because we are copying it, but we do free them. Does it still work, by the way? We didn't guess that. Yeah. So, I suppose I have to do if hd entries of I not equal to null. So let's actually bind this. If entry not equal to null, we are first going to free entry E. But that's a warning, I suppose. So now, if I say me, if I say at, double free detected. Double free detected. Why is it a double free? Hello. Hey Paris. Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? What's this? Do you program? Do you do coding? Do you do coding, my friend? Or software? So I'm building a hash table in C. That's all. It's an exercise that I'm just doing to hone my skills. That's all, bro. That's all. Let's do something. It is not. Still do double free. It's streamed for almost 3 hours now, and I'm a bit tired right now. I think I'm going to stop right here, but before that, I'm going to create a repository in case anyone is interested. Okay, just a second. Message retracted. What happened, Paris? What happened? What happened, bro? HashTable library in C. Okay. So let's exit this guy. Can it just exit and then here, exit in here. Still works, right? Still works. Still works, still works. Okay. So we need to read. Hash at hash table implementation in C. I think the way you do that is like this. This is an educational programming this is for educational and recreational programming purpose. The library, and I feel you have to do it like this block codes, right? Library is not finished and definitely not to be used in production. The project is released under MIT license, copy of which can be found here. So license like this. Okay, so do we have central license? Copy this license here. Okay. Git ignore, so hatch is definitely one thing. Nothing else I think we have to ignore right now. Boom, 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 boom. Also, why did I already did this? Why is it? I don't know why it's not working. Anyways, let's do it. So also maybe we have to do some attributes and stuff. Git attributes. So has to be github.com. Just go to main. Boom. GitHub Git attributes. Okay. So do you have something for C? Here's something for CPP. Git sorry, duplicate this thing, and I have to just move this guy to this. Finish here. Create a slash hats. Shit. Git push origin at and there you go. This is the repository. That didn't quite work. Let's see how you can say that. Maybe things like that. No, I have to do this. Aha. Yeah, that's fine. Copilot is syncing. Update readme. Okay, cool. So now this particular project is in GitHub. If you think this is useful, go read it. Give it a star. So we managed to do this. So next day, what we have to do is we have to first extract it out into a library. And I'm going to call it a frequency table, or I'm going to call it a word frequency table. And that is going to be helpful, I think, because then I can create something which is more generic. So I have a void pointer, things like that, which is more customizable. But I think the very first thing tomorrow, what we're going to do is one is resize. Second is has. Yeah, that's pretty much it that we're going to do. Okay. So thank you so much, people who joined in, and thank you so much for your interactions. Thank you so much for the suggestions and things like that. I really enjoy these kind of sessions, and I mean, HHH, you have gone, but I gotta say one thing, man. It's a real privilege to have someone I absolutely adore have another guy from the same community come and visit, or at least like the stream got to, are recommended, and you coming. So really appreciate. So thank you so much, everyone, and kind of tired now. I'll go have dinner and then go to sleep. Tomorrow there's an office, and tomorrow evening I might not stream because I have probably a plan with my family, but let's see, still not sure, but most likely I'm gonna not stream. Depends. Maybe I'll stream in the night. I don't know. I really had fun doing this today because of the fact that I could make it work. That's one of the things, honestly. That's one of the things. So yeah, thank you so much. And if you enjoyed the stream, If you enjoy this kind of content, do feel free to subscribe, do feel free to share it with your friends and bring in more engagement, bring in more community. I'm trying to build a community which is more like, okay, we actually start learning because we love learning. We actually do programming because we love programming, we enjoy it. It's not something that we do just because it needs to be done, just because it's a job. I wish I like had this understanding and feeling about programming like when I started my career, because I started pretty late. I started pretty late, I would say. But yeah, never like late than never, right? So something like that. So yeah, thank you so much everybody for joining in. Whoever tuned in, and bye bye and good night. I'll see you around.